It's Wednesday. It's close to 5:30. Tup is in his bunker.
Yep.
All is right with the world. Uh, Welcome in, everybody, to episode 111. I'm Casey with Cascadia Dispatch. I can't believe it. 111 times.
Nice.
Joining me for, I think, almost all of those and continuing on is Tup, the Urban Prepper. Tup, what is going on?
Uh, that, Things are busy. It's going pretty good overall. School's wrapping up, so I think we've been pretty busy. I'm sure you have too with like kids stuff. And I think my son just did his last final for high school, so today, and then my daughter's out, and now we're getting ready, gearing up for some family vacation. So
Oh,
next, I think we're passing through your territory of the preparedness world.
we'll wave.
Yeah. Although
We've
I think we're bypassing Portland as
Yeah, because it's on fire, as all of the
it's
cities are. It just everything is on
your neck
fire.
of the woods is a little rough. It's no,
You know what? I feel like I'm just gonna tell people it's on fire, so they don't come and have
yeah,
our delicious coffee
yeah,
anymore. So they don't like make more lines at the restaurants that we want to go to. Like, you know
yeah,
what? Yeah, no, sure, everything's on fire. It's all bad. That's great.
yeah. So we're doing a Sun River trip next week, and then we come back, and then the following week after that, we're going to Vegas, and that should be fun too.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
that is
good times.
fantastic. We were just in Sun River like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. Memorial Day weekend. We went with some friends over there. So hopefully it's as lovely for you there now as it
Yeah,
was for us
we go every
in
year, and
Vegas.
we really like it, and that we're going to bring the bikes, and I'll see if I can film a video while I'm there. That would be fun. But yeah, we really like it down there. If we had some more of that prepper bucks, we would get
Yeah.
a bunker over there or something. But
I have looked at that, trying to make that happen so many different times.
yeah,
And there's just sadly like I cannot make the math work. Like it's one of those where like I can get the math to get real close,
yeah.
but not like just all the way. But yeah, no, it's a fantastic place
Maybe
to go. And
Yeah, maybe we'll get a plot in one of the Atlas survival bunkers, and it'll just be that's all
I
we'll
think
have.
that's a fantastic
And
idea.
then yeah,
I will say it's easier to get something that works in like the Bend, Madras, like the area. Like as long
mhm,
as you're not in Sun River or like Black Butte. For those of you who don't know, in Eastern Oregon, there is like a whole resort kind of. I don't know if you call it a triad or a complex or whatever,
mhm.
but there's like Sun River is one resort where a lot of people like if you live in
It's
Portland,
it's
there's
bougie.
like
It's bougie.
yeah, there's
It's
like
bougie
you have
Bend.
like a because the beach is about an hour and a half from Portland to the west, and Bend is like 3 hours to the east, and you've got the mountains in between. So a
Mhm.
lot of people in Portland have like the beach that their families have gone to for generations, and then their Bend resort that they've gone to for generations.
Yeah,
And you're like a seaside, Lincoln City, or Cannon Beach, usually beach family, and you don't usually go to the other ones. And then for Eastern Oregon, it's Sun River, Black Butte, Eagle Crest. And then there are people who just go to like Bend proper and just kind of hang out there. And it's more of like city. Um, so yeah, you can find places a little less expensive as long as you're outside of those resort areas, and you don't care about some of the amenities like the pools and all of that.
yeah, yeah. We've been doing it every year. I mean, maybe someday if I get uh, again get some prepper bucks that roll in, I'll have to look into that. But yeah, we like it
Yeah,
there. But we'll do a little white wave through. Before, I don't even think we take I-5 all the way down to your neck. You and Bernie, I know control that.
yeah, we'll just
You
wave
and
from
Bernie
the
control that
overpass.
sector. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, pig's flight Kayla. Yeah, so coffee is big in Portland.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of artisanal hand roasted stuff, kind of like Seattle.
Yeah.
But then Portland also has like a huge microbrew thing, so like the breweries are big, and then
I think
wine
the Northwest
country
has good.
is
Northwest in general, I think has great coffee, great beer, great
yeah,
wine. It's a
we have wineries all over the place, and now a lot of the wineries are turning into distilleries, and
Mm.
so they're doing a lot of distilleries in wine casks, so you can get like bourbon finished in Pinot casks and
Yeah, there's a lot of
vodka
that. Yeah,
finished in, Pinot Gris. Like they mix it all up. It's nuts.
yeah. I see
But
Chuck's mentioning I'm getting bombarded from YouTube and prepper channels that are totally AI generated, and this live stream is AI generated too,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, we've licensed our
Yeah,
voices
yes,
to
yeah.
11 Labs.
The paperwork
And
all went through. It's fully
yeah,
licensed.
exactly. I'm actually working on, in the background of my laptop right now, is my latest AI experiment is happening. And so
What's that?
if it works,
Is it
like I was thinking about, right? So I'm working on building my own proprietary, like a family, but the idea is it'll be all of our documents and everything, but it's going to run on a local language processor and
sweet?
um, have a local like web interface sort of a thing. So it'll run on our network, but so it'll be protected. But I've gone through the process of like taking all the scans that I had and making the Python scripts and everything to go through and put the text layer on top of it and then extract the text layer and then break it down into chunks and have it run through OpenAI's API to get the
Nice. This is total nerd stuff.
oh, it's big nerd stuff.
This is it's
So
big time.
yeah. So from what I understand, like that's the bulk like processing part. And once you've done that, like it can just sit there and then you can put your language models and your UIs and things on top of that. So I haven't picked out like a UI, I haven't picked out the language model, but I
Wow.
did do like the test of okay, if you run all this stuff through and then ask it a question, using like just some standard little Python scripts and stuff like that, it actually was able to find and recognize the stuff from what I was putting in there. So
Sweet.
it's the next piece of the family preparedness thing is okay, now we'll have this thing where, hopefully like, okay, people in the family could ask it questions and get responses as
That's
opposed to
yeah,
sending
we
them
need
an
an update.
archive.
We need regular updates on that throughout the summer while we
Mhm.
fine tune it, optimize it.
Yeah. So it's either going to be super fun or it's going to be an absolute waste of 3 days. But
Yeah.
either way, it'll be interesting to
Are
talk
we gonna
about.
get a video on this one? This one sounds like it's
Yeah, we might do a live stream or something. The
okay.
video, like, I would love to do more videos, but I have such a difficult time just finding time to do anything that the editing of the video
Sucks.
is like, oh, I'm gonna make a video, and then it doesn't happen. I feel like if I do live streams,
Yeah, no editing involved. Yeah.
there's no editing and there's no expectation then of editing, and as long as I have like a topic that I'm going to talk about, then I think that
Okay,
might be
we'll
the
live stream it. Yeah,
generate
we'll
some
do it live.
more Casey content, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah.
But I'll let you make all the fancy, ones and do all that.
Yeah, I have 3 weeks of I've been trying to stay consistent with doing a Saturday release, and I have
Yeah.
the next 3 weeks. They're already scheduled to go live at certain times. So just for this vacation time, I'm trying to squeeze in one more, so I have four. So I have like a 1 month buffer. That'd be pretty awesome.
Look at you go.
But the other videos are taking longer to do, so they're
It's
like
like you've been doing this for a decade.
well there's some yeah I so there's some ChatGPT helps out with like some of like
Mhm.
the stuff I don't like doing, like
Yeah.
spell checking and making tags and all that stuff. So
And
just
actually being in it and being the voice and doing the editing and the whole thing.
yeah,
You're
it does
just
do that. I'm still doing it all natural for
Tup
that.
is Tup is turning into one of those AI generated things. That's what the
Well,
like the bunker background is and everything.
yeah,
That's just for the green screen.
yeah. It is nice that it's like my wife doesn't want to talk to me about these things, so it's always like very positive to me. Oh, that's a great idea, and you should do. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, pigs fly. I think about that live stream quite frequently of the like, okay, going through the shelves and everything. I actually just got some new stuff that's gonna go in the shelves. So maybe next week when Tup is on vacation,
yeah,
maybe I'll do the shelf tour as part of that for anyone who's interested.
yeah. I think we've been all been waiting for that. I think that's
Yeah. We do the shelves and maybe we'll do the bunker office tour too, because that's
it says
something that people have been wanting to do.
need to get that two tools, one tub merchandise out there so you can support it.
Yeah.
Some of, uh, some of the AI channels give themselves away with that. Yeah,
Yeah. There's a lot of it's kind of for as good quality as some of the AI stuff can be, like you can still tell it's AI.
yeah,
Like there's still a little bit of an edge in some of the graphics and some of the I'm loving the Star Wars, like the stormtrooper AI
I've seen
um,
some of those, yeah.
things and the history ones. Um,
Those ones are they're entertaining for sure.
I found a prepper one today with a squirrel talking to its jar of peanut butter with an aluminum, like a tinfoil hat, and thinking that his tail was an antenna from the government. Like I was
Yeah,
like, okay, this is fantastic.
yeah, cool.
Um, so yeah, so one of the things that I put in the thing that,
Natural disaster prepping, no FEMA.
yes, no FEMA.
Yes,
So I made it sound very dire.
yes.
But it was one of those. This is one of those weeks where in the news there's a lot of stuff with the new federal budget and what that's going to be, and no one knows what that's going to be. But one of the things that has been discussed a lot is reduction in federal emergency response funds, or having states be more responsible, and how that works. Like nobody really knows.
Mhm.
But we know that last summer there was a lot of natural disasters. We had a bunch of hurricanes, we had a bunch of flooding, we had wildfires, and while people weren't really thrilled with the response, like there was a response. And I think what we've seen in the last few months with some of the tornadoes in the Midwest, and some of the potential impending hurricane stuff, is it's unclear what the federal kind of or state emergency response would be, because it doesn't seem like they even know what they're doing.
So
Um,
does federal funding go to the states now? Is that what I'm
so
not
that's
high
a
on it.
yeah. So it's a bit murky, depending on who you listen to and how you interpret it. It is possible that the federal emergency funding would go to the states and the states would manage it. It's
Okay,
possible that the federal funding would be minimal and they would just expect the states to make up the difference, which
okay,
states don't really have a plan for that. So how would you do that? It's possible that all of it would be cut, down, because they're trying to find places to cut. Um, so it's really unclear what that would be. There were a bunch of stories when the tornadoes were going through kind of like Arkansas and a bunch of places that, Sarah Huckabee Sanders was asking for federal funds to help with the tornadoes, and that was denied. I know that there's been some other disastery sort of things in the last couple of months that the response has not been great. So it's very unclear what, if any, response, if when we get into like hurricane season. There's a hilarious headline that apparently some guy who's either in charge of FEMA now or in charge of the weather for FEMA or something. Don't come at me. I don't know the exact. I just remember that the quote was like, he didn't know that there was a hurricane season. I don't know what context that was in, but
uh,
it seemed like, okay, like we know there's a hurricane season. Like, how is that a thing? Um, so it's very unclear what that would look at. I know there have been a lot of comments made about California and wildfires, and the federal government not being real thrilled with California in a lot of different areas. So what that might mean for withholding funds or not, who knows? All of that to say, I think it's very clear that we, as people who are preparing and all of that, need to be much more focused on where we are and what we have prepared, and even less focused on what the federal or state response might be, which, even though we don't try to think about that, I think everyone assumes that there would be some sort of evacuation help or something to come and help people in a disaster. Um, and that may be even less likely now going forward. Could
yeah,
be great, but who knows? Um, so I've spent a little time in the last couple of weeks
yeah.
doing things like checking with our insurance agent, like what are our actual coverages if something were to happen, if it was a fire, if it was an earthquake, if it was a flood, um, what would that mean? And assuming that it doesn't take the whole nation out, assuming that it's localized, um, what would we need to get back on our feet? What would we need to do that sort of stuff? Um, so that's, I think, where I was kind of looking at this and saying, I think it's something that may not be, we kind of get, I'm trying to think of the word, but complacent in some of this. And I think it's important to remember that, like, that may not be the case, and let's take a minute to just refocus on all of that.
Well, first off, that was that was very great
I'm a
overview of all of it. A lot of
fantastic
research.
orator.
Yeah, you've obviously done a lot of research on it. I'm coming in here cold, so
I
so
like to do that to you. Let me
yes,
just come up with a topic, and
uh,
I will say, for every there's so much politics and everything else. This is not a politics
yeah.
thing. This is not a. I don't know all of the details. I just know enough to be like, I don't know that I feel comfortable that everything is going to work the way that it has worked previously. So
Yeah,
that's
I think I've learned. I mean, for me, like prepping is kind of is it's definitely a regional thing. Like
mhm.
your preps change. Like for us, like in the Northwest, I
Yeah.
don't think we have to deal with hurricanes and we don't have to deal with tornadoes, and but we have to deal with flooding and we have to deal with earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. So I think you prioritize that. And if I lived in Kansas, I'd be prioritizing tornadoes. But I've learned like when I think we talked about it a few years back where we were dealing with uh, active threat incident with a neighbor.
Mhm.
Like I realized then that hey, we're on our own here. Like they're
Yeah.
not gonna, no one's gonna come to help me. Like the cops aren't gonna help. So I think the same. I kind of treat the same with like FEMA or any kind of like I'd rather do the stuff myself and and not count on it. And if if some federal agency or state agency helps out, great. But I kind of feel like all of us are on our own in an emergency situation, whether that's yeah. So I
Yeah.
think yeah, for natural disaster prepping, like I think our what you and I are going to do is going to be completely
Mhm.
different. I'm actually working on a video for after that volcano happened over in Italy. I'm like, oh man, I got to fine tune some volcano preps.
How
So,
do you keep magma out? What is the
well, yeah,
prep for
I'm not
magma?
expert on that, but it's like I think like well, first off, for like well, for us, like if you're in some certain paths, like you're kind of screwed for some of these ones. But I'm just mainly focusing on ash is what I'm for
Mhm.
volcano. But I have no hurricane preps. I have no tornado preps. I have no even my wildfire preps. I don't have that because we just haven't had deal. We don't deal that with that in the same way that California does. And I know there's stuff with regard to the underbrush and all that and with California. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think in general, I think we're on our own. We can't rely on anyone. Even
Yeah.
like the cops, I think they're going to be there to file the police report at the end after all everything's
Yeah.
done, for most likely. And then say with FEMA, they'll come afterwards and maybe give you some boxed water and survival bars or something. But I'd rather do. Yeah, I think all those natural disasters. It's important for us, all of us, to look out for ourselves. We have our best interest in mind for ourselves and our family.
Yeah. I think the police coming and doing the thing at the end, I think is really because we were really relevant because when we were doing our CERT training, community emergency response team training, which if you have it in your area, sometimes it's called CERT, sometimes it's called NERT, sometimes it's something else. Um, Highly recommend everybody do it if you can. But one of the things they were talking about during ours was that most of the police officers and first responders for our like city actually live out of our city. And so if something were to happen here, likely they would be not here. They would be in their own homes and they would probably be dealing with that area as opposed to, in our area. So that was another little eye-opening factoid that we found out that we were like, oh, we really need to even be more prepared because the people who should be here to help us theoretically do that may actually be taking care of their own selves in their own towns, not living here.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
for sure. Yeah, like I think we talked in the past about some of the wildfire and like the roof
mhm.
sprinklers. I still need to up that game, but to be honest, there's never been where I live like that kind of like if I lived in Sun River or Bend,
Yeah,
it would go up in priority for me because it's more like there's those things are very common down there. Uh, but
yeah.
yeah, and I think
We got it. They came
we're just talking
close.
the U.S. Like different countries have different things too.
Oh yeah, different countries have different things. Yeah, I feel like it's important to know like what is regionally relevant
Yeah,
to you. To your point, like I don't have any hurricane preps. I do have those sprinklers for the roof because
that's nice.
in Portland we actually did get wildfires that came up the gorge and got pretty close to the edge of the city. It wasn't,
Hmm.
you know, we still had a ways to go before it was a problem, but like it started to get kind of close. Like they started like closing schools, and it was a very weird thing. So I think that for us, that is a thing that is going to be more prevalent, obviously in Sun River or Bend or something, which is like a desert and super dry, like you're going to get a very likely possibility there. We don't have hurricane stuff because I don't think the way that the weather works, like
Yeah.
hurricanes can actually happen off of the West Coast
No, I
up
don't think so.
where we live. Tornadoes, every once in a while you hear of like a funnel cloud that happened,
Yeah.
but like that's really one off. The earthquakes are definitely a thing for us, but I know that, for example, on the East Coast, if a disaster happens and it's regionalized, in theory, you're gonna make it hopefully through that first couple of days or whatever, get somewhere else in let's say the United States. You get somewhere else in the United States and you're gonna set up, and you got to figure out how to live and that sort of stuff, which is where things like extra insurance, extra emergency funds, and some of that stuff. What are you going to do after the emergency to kind of get back on track? And a lot of people don't know that, yeah, you have home insurance, but that may not cover a flood. That may not cover a hurricane or a tornado. I don't know if they
I
make
think
tornado
we
insurance,
pay
but
something for earthquake, but it's still like, uh, how did that work? It's been a while, but it was something along the lines of, oh yeah, well, you're covered for earthquake, but you have to pay 25% of the house costs. Like I'm like, oh, I don't, we have that just sitting around ready for. Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of tricky on some of those insurance things.
yeah, and so I would just encourage everybody. We just went through, part of what sparked this was that on Tuesday, I think, of last week, maybe it was Wednesday, I don't know, it was sometime last week. We had like our annual insurance review with our
Hmm.
insurance agent, and we go through everything. We go through all the different stuff. And one of them was like earthquake insurance. So we have earthquake insurance.
Yeah,
We pay a little bit more, so the deductible is lower because it's really like total loss. Like if there's an earthquake, you have to pay a certain amount before the
yeah, I
insurance will
forget all the
kick in.
details on it. Yeah,
Yeah. And so we got a super low deductible because, like, okay, if a wall cracks, if it doesn't, like, we don't want to start paying $20,000-$30,000 out of pocket
yeah,
to fix a minor damage thing. But also, like, so so we have that, and then you have fire, but like they were like, do you want flood insurance? And I was like, we don't live really by a body of water. And they were explaining that like some of it's like if a
I think
fire
it's the most
hydrant
common. Like,
breaks.
it's the most common natural disaster in Seattle is flooding, even though
Yeah.
like you wouldn't think so because we're, but yeah, that's, and I imagine Portland's probably the same.
Yeah, and so it was like, okay, well, yeah, I haven't thought about it because we don't really get, like, every once in a while you'll get a river that floods or something, but like we're in kind of a weird spot. I wouldn't expect us to flood from a creek overflowing or something like that.
Yeah,
But if a fire hydrant broke as it relates to an earthquake or something like that and the water got in, then that would be,
yeah,
according to them, considered a flood.
yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, send me the numbers. But I know that like in like the southeast and some of that stuff with hurricanes, there's the wind, but what really does most of the damage is the water.
Yep.
And so if those are classified differently and you think you have homeowners insurance and really you need flood insurance, like that's a thing to make sure that you've got so that you can, live. Because a lot of those policies will pay you to live somewhere else while you're rebuilding or something like that.
Where is the worst place in the United States to live for natural disasters? That's my question.
That is a fantastic idea. I don't know. You know what?
We'll see in the comment section, but
Well, actually, I'm just
we're
gonna ask
talking to AI.
ChatGPT.
Let's see what ChatGPT says.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm gonna.
wondering I wonder if it's Florida.
What
Like,
is the worst?
you got
Can we
hurricanes
do
every year.
state or city?
Let's do state.
Okay, state
I
to
bet
live
California's up there because you have
as
earthquakes,
natural
fires.
disasters.
They don't get hurricanes though. Yeah.
Um, let's see.
Oh, Brekkie.
California
Is it
is the
California?
most disaster prone overall
Okay.
because
Earthquakes and fire.
earthquakes, wildfires, droughts, floods, mudslides,
That's right. They had,
extreme
yeah,
heat,
yeah, the mudslide.
and the costliest disasters. Other top contenders are Florida for hurricanes, flooding, and
Okay.
sinkholes. Wouldn't have
Sink,
thought of sinkholes, but that's a
sinkholes
thing.
are scary. Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, Texas, hurricanes, tornadoes, flooding, extreme heat, and ice. Louisiana, hurricanes and flooding. Oklahoma, tornadoes, hailstorms, and earthquakes induced by fracking. Not like fault line earthquakes, but Mississippi, hurricanes, tornadoes, and flooding. And Hawaii, volcanoes, tsunamis, and hurricanes.
I think the scariest natural disaster in the United States is tornadoes, but unfortunately, I don't have to.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
Oh wait, hold on, hold
that'd be
on,
yeah, we see.
hold on. Wait,
Yeah, we got Brecky there.
Brecky's here. Brecky's
Nice,
back.
nice.
I thought that she had just
I thought she was mad
gone
at
into a
us.
bunker. Yeah, exactly. Or
Yeah,
she
she's
was mad
mad.
at us,
Yeah, she's
or
mad.
something. Yeah. But she's here. This is fantastic. Welcome back.
This is big time. Yeah.
We need to restore our roundtables.
Yes, we got to get that going again.
That was fantastic.
Would you be more scared of a tornado or a volcanic eruption?
Um, I guess.
Mount Hood or a tornado in Portland?
Um, well, so the problem with that is like the tornado is very specific. Like it's
Yeah,
gonna go. So like as long as you're not in the path of the tornado, you're probably okay. But like the volcanic eruption, like it did ash, like with Mount St. Helens exploded
yeah,
and everything. Like it was
all over the place.
everywhere and in everything, and it just ruined a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
Um, we don't have the like magma like lava earthquakes like in Hawaii.
yeah.
Those are kind of super scary because you can't stop it. Like there's nothing you can put really there to not have it just run through wherever it wants to go.
Comets are coming in. Tornadoes are not fun. I agree. Tornadoes are short-lived. Hurricanes you can't turn off. Yeah,
And Brecky, I just saw your comment. I'm sorry. I
yeah. We
we
didn't know.
been there, and it's not a fun thing, and so I'm sorry to hear about that situation. Hopefully, you and the rest of the family are doing well, and we'll send our happy thoughts in your general direction while we talk about
We'll get
natural
Becky back
disasters.
back when she's ready.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, tornadoes are short-lived, and hurricanes you can't turn off. Yeah, no, it's hurricanes are just kind of once they get going, like they just get
Earthquakes are
going.
pretty scary too. Like that's the one. Like the reason I got into prepping is because of earthquakes.
Mhm.
Earthquakes first, then volcanic eruptions, like for natural disaster related stuff. But
Yep,
um,
earthquakes were that article, man. That New York
the
Times.
Cascadia subduction zone one
Yeah. Oh
that got it.
man.
That made a lot of preppers.
That was it for me. I was like, all right, we're
Yep.
going to Cabela's tomorrow and
Yep.
getting sleeping bags and things because holy
That's,
cow.
man, that yeah, that's right. That's like a legendary the gateway into getting into preparedness is that article. Like
Yep. It was that article, and then I think there are probably like some pandemic preppers that came out of all of that because I think like
yeah.
that kind of impacted everybody in a
Yeah, we
lot
have
of
some
different
pandemic.
ways.
I like that. Is that trademarked? Pandemic preppers.
Pandemic preppers. I don't know. We should.
You're again.
You know what? I'll get it on the
We'll let
AI
the
follow up.
AI will put that in.
Yeah. You know what I should do? I should have AI run through all of our little slogan ideas and
Yes,
come up with
come up with put it in a Google
designs.
Sheets or something. Oh
Yep.
yeah, do some mocks.
Yep. Yep.
I have it do mocks a lot, but have I ever told you my earthquake story? Or
No.
okay, a little too much TMI, but I'll say it anyway. So I
What
was
did you do during an earthquake?
well,
That
we had an
was
earthquake in our area like around 2001, I think, or
mhm.
2000, 2001, right around there. Anyway,
Were you having a poke bowl?
I was at college. No, it wasn't not Pokeball. I was living in my grandma's basement at the time, and I was taking a shower, and then the whole house started shaking. And it's an old house. I'm like, oh my gosh, this house is going to collapse. So I run outside naked with a washcloth, and fortunately, no neighbors were around. But I'm just like just riding this thing out, totally naked in the backyard, and yeah, fortunately.
That washcloth must have just been holding on.
I
That
was
was
yeah, we were holding yeah.
I like that you didn't
I
like
had
it
some
wasn't a
modesty.
bath towel or like it was a washcloth. It wasn't even a
That's
hand towel. It
yeah,
was
that's
just
all I grabbed what I could
the
get and just
smallest
ran
piece
outside.
of fabric you could find.
Yes.
And then just shook for the neighborhood.
Yes.
That's
It was scary though at the time.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's scary for maybe I don't also the neighbors. I don't know. Like that seems like there was a
Yeah.
lot of trauma that may have happened that day.
Yeah, I don't think any neighbors fortunately no one wants to see that. That's
You know,
but that's my
you would have
earthquake.
had to take him to the train station. Probably.
Yes, yeah.
That's a okay.
I don't like fires. I've been through
Uh,
not
Still waiting for the chicken laser t-shirts.
yes, we need that.
Yeah. You know what? When I made my little AI list of all of the things that we've talked about over the last 100 and I think 9 episodes, that was when I did it, when I was looking, like we've come up with a lot of ideas.
Well, we have so many slogans and so many T-shirts. Like you could
Yeah.
probably.
we really, yeah. So I'm gonna see what ChatGPT is my new favorite intern. Like it just
Yes.
does all kinds of things.
Yeah.
It just actually finished with all of the embedding things where it takes the little chunks of text and converts it into an equation somehow, that then that's what the models use. I have no idea, but we're gonna figure it out.
Let's see, a
Um,
rom-com moment. That's funny.
yeah. Um, yeah. And Brecky's now working on both. She's on both streams.
Yeah,
Um,
bougie prepping truck. Yeah,
yeah, bougie prepping, big prep energy. That
big
was
prep
one.
energy.
That
I
was a
like
good one.
pandemic preppers. I think that's good.
I actually have. I think I have some designs for big prep energy and bougie prepping.
Yeah.
Um, the problem with bougie prepping, and here's where I come into the problem with bougie prepping. I go back and forth on actually how it should be spelled to not be accidentally culturally offensive or insensitive.
Ooh, okay.
Because my understanding from a little bit of research is that there are some like cultural connotations depending on how you spell bougie and then how you use it. And
We
so
can talk to ChatGPT to see what it says.
yeah, and so like I want to use it, but I'm like also I don't want to get canceled for using it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll see. But that yeah, bougie prepping is 100% a thing. Um, maybe we'll have to make like we'll have the designs and let everybody vote on them or something.
We got Emily
Oh,
McVicker from
from
Twitch.
Twitch.
That's nice. I linked it today.
You did. People, you actually got people on your Twitch. I've
Yeah.
linked my Twitch
I think
111
I think
times.
Emily's the only person on my
Yeah,
Twitch.
exactly. Um, yeah, you know what? We're bringing you into the chat,
Emily,
Emily,
I
because
am going to make the fanny pack song. Emily is a good friend, and she made a special fanny pack song audio. Like it's super pro. I just need to film it, so I need
oh
to
wait
get.
a minute. You sandbagged your Twitch stream with people you knew so that
Yes,
then they could come on and you could
it's
look
all
real
yeah, it's
cool
totally
because
sad.
you had a Twitch stream person?
My mom's on there. Actually, I got a new fanny pack. I can't wait to show it to you. Oh, man, when do I get to show it to you? Maybe 2 weeks from now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I saw that you posted on Instagram. Somebody was rocking a fanny pack.
I saw that. Yeah, that was. We went up to Vancouver this past weekend, and we were at the gas station, and he was rocking like the hardcore Max Edition fanny pack. I'm like, dude, I gotta
Mhm.
get a photo with you. And so he was all tricked out. He had like Batman utility belt, and that was like the main thing. And it was. I don't know if he's a prepper, but he's prepper adjacent for sure.
All right. Well, that's
He was
good.
Floyd, yeah.
Um,
But yeah, this fanny pack, it's for my Macho Man outfit, so I'll just leave it at that. So,
oh, that's fantastic.
because I'm gonna embarrass my wife and kids in Vegas when we go.
With your Macho Man fanny pack?
Yes, with my
God,
Macho
I am
Man
so
fanny
looking
pack.
forward to that.
Yeah,
I am so looking forward to it.
and
Also,
fanny packs
a little jealous.
yeah, they've made a comeback over since COVID. Like fanny packs are
Yeah.
now cool. Like you could wear them again. Yeah,
Yeah, everybody's wearing
there
them.
was a period like between the I don't know 80s and 90s and or 2000s. I think actually up until COVID, I think fanny packs were not cool
Up
unless you were
until last Thursday.
yes.
And then Tup decided he was going to bring them back,
Well,
and there we go.
Nothing Fancy was trying to get them
Yeah.
back. We didn't agree with it at the time, but then pandemics changed things. So,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I'm working on a new kind of, I don't know, pouch setup or something, because I've not, like, I want the fanny pack thing to work. My
Yeah.
body does not love a fanny pack.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, for
And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with the sling bag because I really love that. It's taken me forever to find sling bags that I actually felt like reasonable wearing. Um, so I found some. I'm very excited, but I never wear them.
yeah,
And part of it's because my wife has her purse with her, and so like that's not a thing. But what I've realized is, okay, I need to force this sling bag habit so she doesn't need to carry her purse with her, and I'll have the bag. And so we're working on coming up with little modules that can go between the sling bags and her purse, so that we have like, um, it's kind of this expanding list of like, there's Advil and Tylenol for the parent headaches, and then we added Lactaid for the lactose intolerant children, and now we're adding fidgets for the kids who and some of the adults who enjoy those. And then we were like, oh, we'll add pickle juice. Have you heard about pickle juice, like for cramps? Like if you get like leg cramps and things
I
like
didn't know
that.
about for cramps, but I know for like if you're not feeling well, you just drink a bunch of pickle juice and it seems to solve things.
Yeah, so you can buy like pickle juice in little bottles.
So pickle
Uh,
juice is a prep now.
yeah, so we've got pickle juice as a prep. We've also
Nice.
got a diabetic. My father-in-law is diabetic, so he's always watching his sugar and stuff. And we were at a choir concert, and it was and we were like, oh, we don't have any candy or anything, so now we have little candies that work. So it just keeps adding and growing this like daily emergency pack that we're going to start packing around.
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
When my wife was pregnant with our son, she had this weird craving for pickles and eggnog. So,
Oh,
and so she was dipping the pickles in the eggnog, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's nasty."
what is? I mean, that's not even like pickles and ice cream. Is like,
No,
okay, like like, I mean, that's
uh,
bad, but like you like took ice cream and made it worse.
yeah. So she was
It-
at the time. It was like 3 in the morning. I need pickles and I need some eggnog now, and so I'm having to wake up and try to find some at some 24-hour grocery store.
I didn't get woken up, but I got a late night request for a very specific type of Tillamook ice cream once.
Yeah,
Um, and they didn't have it, so I ended up buying all of the component Tillamook ice creams because it was like a swirl thing. And so I got like all of the component ice creams to make that, um, and that worked. But then we just kept a stash of that ice cream available
yeah,
always.
yeah. I had similar random requests like that.
Yeah,
What is that? LMNT packets.
are way better than pickle juice.
I don't know what a LMNT is.
I don't know what that is either.
I know what
Is it
Teenage
like a
Mutant Ninja Turtles
supplementy
is.
sort of thing?
That's
Well, yeah.
so close to TM, and
The TMNT. It's tiny
it's
turtles.
turtle
It
adjacent. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. It's turtle adjacent. It's ground up turtle.
yeah,
It's very illegal, but
yeah.
it's um
Does
I'm
red
thinking just wine in general. The question was from Chuck. Okay. So Chuck asked, does white wine or red wine go with hurricanes?
uh,
Uh and uh and Pig's Fly was saying wine in general. I think that's true because
okay.
also like red wine would stain potentially, but you might not care because it's a
I
hurricane.
remember in the Day After Tomorrow, that movie, they were on their way out, or they what they drank, like scotch, I think is what they had
Hmm.
said. Scotches for natural disasters too.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
so LMNT packets are rehydration packets by Brecky, just
yeah,
Brecky GPT, just
yeah. Brekkie GPT. Yeah, that's that would be fantastic if we just created
yeah.
GPTs for our viewers
Yeah,
and like our
we
friends.
should make, like, various prepper personality GPTs, like, that's all AI generated and answers questions.
Yeah, exactly. Like we haven't like talked to Sutton's Days or Brekkie, and so we just made up
Yeah, we just
GPTs to join the chat, and we just took their logos, and it's fine. It's all good. No one noticed. Um, all right, everybody. Well, I
no,
think we are at a
that's fine,
good
yeah.
stopping point.
Yeah.
Apparently, Chipotle has arrived.
We
So
covered a good amount of stuff. We covered what we're doing, some prepping planning. We talked about, natural disasters, FEMA, AI, all sorts of stuff.
yeah, I love the recap that you did.
Yes.
Like, I feel like we're getting better
I'm
at this,
trying
like
to,
as a
because I
show.
know this is getting fed to ChatGPT,
Yeah,
so we're just trying to
exactly.
look
We've
at
got the
into it. Yeah.
recap. We actually had like a topic that we
We
covered.
had some new T-shirts that came
Wow.
out for
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Look at
What we
us.
should eventually do is program it so it auto generates the t-shirts for us. So at the end of each one, like whatever t-shirt will go to Amazon. Because what you can't you auto you can make
Oh yeah, don't threaten me with a good time. I'll make a content pipeline that
and it
will just
the pipeline just ships it.
yeah, exactly. Hmm.
Yeah,
All right, that will be my. I will take that as a note for next week to see how we can make all of these
yeah.
designs work. But
Or at least like a morale patch or something for each one would be cool.
yeah, so okay. Well, let me
Yeah.
feel it. No, Brecky, you never derail us.
She kind of
You're
brought some life.
always
It
welcome.
really sparked. Yeah,
Yeah, we've
we
missed
kind of
you.
woke up right after that when she.
And we're glad you're back. And hopefully you'll be back more. And hopefully then we can get you on and we'll do like a recap of, I don't know, we'll do roundtable or something.
Yeah.
Those
So,
were
so
fantastic.
next week I'll be in Sun River. I'll talk to my wife to see if I can hop on a stream, but
Okay.
mom may be pissed.
No, that's totally fine. And maybe next week we'll do the
You
like
can show the
I'll
you can
do the office
show and
tour
tell.
thing.
Yeah,
Because I don't know if I don't know if you actually want to like be there or if it's better for me to
maybe
just do it.
Brecky could fill in for me.
Oh, that could be fun. All
Yeah,
right. All right. I will email her and see what her schedule is
yeah.
like. Prepper scouting patches. That would be fantastic.
Now we're
That's
talking.
what
That's a
was
great
Brecky's
idea.
idea.
Yeah,
Mhm.
or tattoos. We could lower back tattoos. Yeah, that's with preppers.
we are 2 steps to being canceled.
Yes,
With that, I think so. I think that's where what I think is we've reached the blood sugar level with Tup where it is time to just
yeah.
call it a night.
Usually need Sutton's days to kind of keep us at bay for
That is
once it
true.
goes
That
off
is.
the rails.
I think what it is we did a real good job of staying on the rails to some
Yeah,
extent, and now we just have to you just have to scream in the yard sometimes.
yeah.
So, but all right, everyone. Well, we will see you. Some combination of us will see you next week. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button, the subscribe, blah blah blah. You know the drill. Also, if you prefer us in more of an audio tone and you don't want to actually look at our faces, check out the podcast. I uploaded the last, I don't know, backlog of episodes up to I
Nice.
think 109. So those are coming out. I'm putting out one every day because I just didn't want
You
to
should
drop like
feed the
100.
audio through the AI, so through Google VO and see and have it yeah.
Yeah,
Or
you
we
know
should do
what?
like the baby because don't they do that like the baby talking?
Baby AIs.
Yes.
Oh man, just so many
Another project.
ideas.
Another project. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. ChatGPT is gonna be like, "Are you paying me for this?" And I'm gonna say, "Yes, I actually am."
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how we're doing it. But all right, everybody. Well, we will see you next week or ish. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye.